In the early hours of Sunday the 6th of June 2010, Padraig Barton was involved in an accident on the outskirts of Derry. Padraig, or Paddy as he was known to his friends and family, passed away the following day. He was just 18 years old. Padraig was born on the 5th of April 1992 into a family steeped in Republican politics. His grandfather, Sean Keenan, was a prominent activist in Derry over decades, while his uncle, Ogla Colin Keenan, was killed by the British Army in 1972. All their family members were active or imprisoned during the recent conflict. Padraig attended Long Tower Primary School before transferring to St Colm's College in 2003. At the age of 13, Padraig became one of the founding members of the Derry Republican youth group, Saoirse. He showed himself to be able and dedicated, participating and playing an active role within the group.
Saoirse was a Republican youth organisation. It was set up by young Republicans in the Derry area who wanted to form and gather together other young Republicans throughout the town. Some of the key founders on it was Padraig and Mickey Kelly, Bronagh McKnight and Nash, and along with some senior people like Mark Doherty and Decky McKellen, decided to give young people a group that they could call their own and do their own thing, with a Republican ethos behind it. So some of the stuff that they started to do was they were heavily involved in the 25th anniversary with the hunger strikes, and Padraig himself was involved in it. They built a mock cell, and on the day of the hunger strikers' anniversaries, they built the cell up and put it in the bauxite down beside the hunger strike monument. And they done a fast each day then for the hunger strikers.
And it was all, it's alright, it was all just breathe, no, you'll be alright. And I was all, no, I was all Padraig, I don't know what names I have to say. And while we were walking up to the podium, he had to tell me, right, you're doing this and I have to do this. And like, I can't be down then, because you knew then, right, just follow his lead, no, and you'll be alright, because he always knew what to do.
Ogla Michael Gahan, aged 24, endured 64 days on hunger strike, died 3rd of June 1974.
Ogla Frank Stagg, endured 62 days on hunger strike, died 12th February 1976.
Ogla Bobby Sands, aged 27, endured 66 days on hunger strike, died 5th of May 1981.
Ogla Francis Hughes, endured 59 days on hunger strike, died 12th of May 1981.
Padraig lived for many things: his friends and family, his beloved Stoke City Football Club, and republicanism, which he embraced through his activism in Ogra Sinn Féin. He was an easygoing, positive young person and could always be relied upon when given a task.
Through the development of sort of Ogra Sinn Féin, it got bigger, but he was one of the sort of key members, and there was some times we went down to maybe 3 or 4 members and he was always there.
Some of the stuff, Padraig would have been involved in nearly everything. It quickly became to me somebody that I could rely on as coordinator. You always knew that when you were trying to pull them together on a Saturday evening that you were sure Padraig would be there.
During marches and things, I would have carried reefs and Padraig was there, and I would always kind of been all like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. And Padraig was just all, it's alright, just walk, you're alright. He would always keep you right, like, no, do this and do that.
We went out to do a protest one day out at the BBC, it was Ogra. I went out to take photographs, but Padraig turned up in his school uniform with his school bag and all. And then someone said, did anybody bring any posters? And he brought all these posters out of his bag that he made up himself in school. So he was going to school, but he was thinking about what the next event was and what he was going to do.
See, for somebody so young, I always remember sitting in groups, no groups of maybe 10 or 12 young people. And as I say, Padraig would have been without doubt one of the younger people in the group, but like, his contribution to the political debate was great. Some of the older people around the table was looking at him and nearly taking a lead from Padraig at stages. And I was always saying I was amazed at how young and how much politics he had.
Last summer in particular, I asked him was he interested in going on a trip to Italy. It was through the Museum of Free Dairy. It was an international peace camp where basically I had to take a group of young people from here, from the nationalist stroke Republican kind of community, and there was a group of unionist stroke Protestants that came from Lisbon. So we went together as a joint Northern Irish group. We went to Italy, and I suppose the whole focus and emphasis of the trip itself was to discuss peace, conflict, and all the issues and matters arising out of that. Padraig was very unassuming, very mild-mannered, easy-going, but very articulate as well. I mean, he obviously held strong political beliefs, like his family, like his mother and his aunts and uncles and his grandfather. He came from obviously a tradition of republicanism, but it wasn't republicanism that he attempted to beat down anybody else's throat. When I spoke to his mother before we left, she says, "You look after my Padraig, when you go away to Italy." And lo and behold, we're out there in a daze, and he falls and breaks he fractured his foot. So subsequently we had to spend like nearly 9 hours in 2 different hospitals getting x-rays and all the rest of it. Not once did he complain.
He wouldn't have seen himself as a person that people look to for leadership, but I think a lot of them did look at him and sort of model themselves on the likes of him as well.
This quality was recognised by the Republican movement in 2008 when Padraig was chosen as one of the honorees at the annual Dairy Volunteers commemorative dinner dance, where he was acknowledged for his contribution to the struggle.
Half the world's population live on less than 1 pound a day. While half of humanity struggles to survive every day, the welfare have spent annually 90 billion on junk food, 50 billion on cosmetics, and 40 billion every month on wars of food devastate impoverished countries with crippled economies. We are part of a civilization that materially has too much and spiritually has nothing. Is that right? We must defend the weak against the powerful, wealthy and greedy. Our brothers and sisters around the world can draw from our inspiration and know that they are right too.
Padraig is a founder member of the Republican youth group Tursha, and he travelled to Dublin and Europe representing Republican youth and plays an active role in promoting republicanism with young people throughout the city. I asked Martin to make a presentation to Padraig.
Although quiet and reserved in nature, he always left a strong impression on those around him by his strong work ethic, and his well-mannered approach to life endeared him to everyone around him.
We were going swimming. Him and his brother Seamus and I was coming along with us going to the swimming baths in Moncrana. And Paddy brought these pair of white shorts. So when he jumped in the water and came back out again, they were completely see-through. So that was my first ever memory of him. He just shorts completely see-through. And Seamus nearly had a heart attack. He was going, "Padraig, what are you at?" And he just, the top of his body, he just didn't care. Just, whoa. He was always well quiet when he was younger. And then my dad was given ration and him left home from Dove House. And out of the blue, he spoke a word to me in years. Out of the blue, he just goes, "Do you have any PlayStation games?" I was like, he talks like.
Enjoyed his football best on Saturday. He'd come into school on the Monday and saying, we had talking about that size there, size of his arm. And he was saying that put 50 pence in 25 teams and we got £3,000 if we had all one.
Over in Manchester one day, we were staying in my brother's house. I wasn't at university at this stage, but went over to visit me, him and Corkle. And we come back from a night out in the halls, in the kitchen. We got a Chinese, and there was this Spanish girl living with my brother. And me and Corkle, we both fell out with her for whatever reason, I can't remember. And then so we headed off to bed, but Padraig saw us as an opportunity to move on. You know, he spoke Spanish or whatever. So we went down to get a sleep. 4 hours later, it's about 7 o'clock in the morning, we come back out. We hear Padraig coming out with Spanish, with his arm around this guy. I was thinking, see, he's a sure an opportunist. Like. One of our friends from the football team from we went down, I just remember him landing. Him and Gary landed and he came in. I said, what are you drinking, Padraig? And he goes, a bit of a mix and match, you know. I said, what do you mean? He opened the bag, he must have had 1 bottle of every beer in the world. Just not overs and 2 of anything, just 1 of everything. I think I texted Padraig and Gary at like 10 o'clock one. He's fancy going to Kelly and nothing else to do. Padraig went up the stage, he stole and he took the microphone, took it outside, started to ask people questions about their religion and their political views and things like that there. And Gary just sitting there laughing, I couldn't stop. He's just, that's like the type of antics he would have got up there. Like.
One time we were in the PE change rooms, but they play football and they wet a towel. No one rolled it round, slapped me in the back of the head with it, and I told him I was going to get him, I didn't see him for 2 days.
In the Strand nightclub, when there was a hen party. We seen the hen party and I just seen his eyes light up like I was thinking, no typical party, just looks at you like that going, what's happening? That's all he ever said was, what's happening? And then he was, the next time I seen him, man, he go, go missing. I was like, where's Padraig? I was asking people, where's Padraig? So looking about, I looked, there's two dance floors, so I looked about one, did I see him? Went to the top one, and there he was in the middle of the hen party with the bride's wedding veil wrapped around him, big pink one, just right down the middle, trying his luck with every single one of them.
We were walking past the classroom, and we were looking around, we were just all, so what? No teacher in that classroom. He wore a suit done for non-uniform day, proper, like shirt, tie, blazer, everything. We just looked up, we were all, go on, I dare you to go on, pretend you're a teacher. And he's all, oh, we were all, go, I dare you to. He's all, right. Walked on, we stood outside the classroom. He walked on, he was all, right boys, get your books out now and stop talking. They all turned around and looked at him and he goes, what? You saw something to say? They all sat down, got their books out. He sat down in the chair anyway, sitting there for like 5 minutes and the proper teacher came on. He was all, oh, I just came on to use the computer and got up and walked out. Oh, it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. He done a bet one day up in Sean Graham's. He done Burnley. They were playing Everton. They beat them 1-0. They done Hubs as well. And it was a double, 5 or double or something. And then he realised when he done the bet, he come home to check the Hubs score. They were ready. 12:30 kick-off. They won 3-1. So he's waiting on Burnley in. Like, I think he was only getting about tenner back. You know, if it was just Burnley on its own, if the bet was, you know, if they didn't pay out and the game was already kicked off. So he went up. I was all, you may as well try your luck anyway. He was all, I'm gonna. So I went up by Graham's and he was shitting himself. He's all, what if they catch me here and all? I was all, sure, you still pay out in our team, you may as well go and try. And he went down, he come out and they paid him out. And then he come back out and I was all, they pay you out. And he was all, he was buzzing like he was over the moon. And then he was all like me, he was all, looked that back in my neck. And I was all, what? I was all, what's wrong with me? He's all, that's 100% pure brass air. He went to an 18th too one night with a suit on and pretended that he was a bouncer and was asking people to leave because they didn't have ID. He was going about and he was all, do you have any ID? And people were all, no, we don't bring any ID. And he was all, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Like taking the hand out of them. But for non-uniform day, he used to wear, I don't, like the 6-7 years he was at the college, I don't think he wore normal clothes on. He wore a Superman costume on 1 year for non-uniform day. He wore a Rangers top on 1 year as well. That's the 3 I remember. He wore a Rangers top on, walked out to school with no jacket on, just showing the Rangers top. Antics were just hilarious. Like, I used to actually copy him at times with some antics. Like, he looked like Tony Pulis with his glasses, you know, Stoke manager. And I think it was then he sort of took a liking to Stoke, started, you know, watching them and all, and he just generally became a Stoke fan. Like, there was one time in the Bouncer where me, Gary, Shan, Keall and Padraig, Shan's a Chelsea fan and Padraig's just a Stoke fan, and we went up to watch that. And they were getting bit 7-0 and Padraig like had his jacket on and he goes, I'm just going to slowly zip this top up so nobody sees me wearing it.
It was all hard, like, the way he gave his all. Like, we were playing a match for Calais, and they put him up front, like, because the centre half was getting just peace all game, just like spread the ball about, but when Padraig came on, just clattered him. Like, no, the centre half knew better get rid of the ball and get my leg broke. Like.
He said he always liked a team who put on a shift, and he thought all the Stoke players put on their shift, like, so he developed a liking for him. Like.
If he took a man, he just wouldn't care. Like, he'd just go, "Aye, big grand, get up."
I saw why he scored Stoke for, and he saw somebody has to. Man, he's just always just go on about the beautiful game, about the long throw, and James Beattie's a white pelly.
Padraig was also very intelligent and academically astute, having just completed his A-levels and was set for going to university.
He was very sort of entailed on his future as well, and towards the sort of the last few months, he was very geared towards his future, and he wanted to get a sort of place at university.
He's a hard worker. Like in business study, was just flat out doing his work. And you see, when he had his mindset in doing it, he just don't want anybody interrupting him or nothing.
Maybe he must now. Like, I know in Manchester, I don't know, like me and Thomas are going to miss him, like, because it's definitely a lot quieter without him.
Like. 3 years we're going to Manchester in September. Was we're going to go to the first Stoke home match whenever we were over. When Stoke were playing at home, we were going to go to the match 3 years or whatever. So we're still going to do that now, just a 2 years, like just for him, like, because I think he would have wanted it done.
On the day of his funeral, Padraig's remains left his beloved Brandywell home. The Irish national flag draped his coffin, and his Ogre Sinn Féin comrades provided a guard of honour, accompanying him on his final journey through the streets of Derry.
Up at the cemetery, we had to carry the coffin again, and we stopped off the Hugh monument and thought that was really nice because Padraig would have liked it. And then whenever I had to give the flag over to Padraig's mommy, and I hugged her, and afterwards I was thinking, no, was I supposed to do that? Because I don't know if it was appropriate or not, but everyone said no, it was alright, and no, it was a nice way to do it. And I think it was just kind of the way Padraig would have wanted the funeral to go, the send-off that I got.
We are buoyed on by Padraig's memory. We're extremely proud and honoured to have worked with and known such an inspirational and gifted young man. And we will do all in our utmost to keep his memory alive and to achieve all that he strived for in his short yet full life.
I love life. I never took anything too seriously. Always had a bit of crack and always had time for everybody, and wouldn't bother anybody or anything. And just enjoyed his life, like. Quiet, but he was always, if he had done anything, I feel like he was happy. I never seen him on a bad mood or anything. Like.
He's a kind of young fella. You wanted you know, I have a daughter at 17 years of age, and he's a kind of young fella I would have wanted to have come to the door with her.
Everybody loved him, like, everybody was his friend. Everybody knew him. Everybody our year knew him.
A really lovely human being, just.